Hello everyone, and welcome back to AniMonolith's light novel summary series for That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Picking up right after the previous episode, once Rimuru and Testarossa returned from the research facility, our beloved chairman continued his string of interviews. Only two primordials remained, Ultima and Carrera. That evening, Rimuru called Ultima in for her turn. "I'm tired of waiting already," Ultima pouted playfully as she sat down, her tone sweet and mischievous. Rimuru couldn't help but smile. Having a little sister like her would probably be both adorable and exhausting. Wanting to lighten the mood, he brewed some tea and brought out the finest baked treats Tempest had to offer. "Wah! Rimuru-sama made all this himself," she asked, eyes sparkling. Foo. I can make tea too, you know. And coffee," Rimuru replied proudly. Of course, it was just simple drip coffee, not even close to Shion's level. Despite her reputation as a disaster in the kitchen, Shion had actually gotten really good at brewing tea and coffee lately. Her dedication to improvement was admirable. Rimuru reflected for a moment. Back in his human days, he'd lived the classic single life, surviving mostly on convenience store meals and takeout. Cooking took too much time, cleaning was a pain, and work was always waiting. The kitchen in his apartment had practically stayed brand new. Still, he'd collected and read plenty of cookbooks, and those memories came in surprisingly handy in his new life. Thanks to that, Tempest's food culture had advanced quite a bit. Anyway, since making coffee here was as easy as pouring hot water over ground beans, even Rimuru could handle it. The aroma soon filled the room, and Rimuru nodded in satisfaction. "Yep, this is perfect. Time to show Ultima what kind of capable boss she's got." "In my opinion," Ciel's voice chimed in, "this is a pretty cheap strategy." "What are you saying?" "You don't get it, Ciel. This is a refined social tactic," Rimuru protested mentally. Showing off strength to primordials was pointless. They respected only overwhelming power or cleverness. So, instead, Rimuru decided to compete in other fields. "You've already shown more than enough of your majesty. Your concerns are unnecessary." Ciel sighed. Fine. Let's get back to work," Rimuru muttered aloud, shaking off the teasing. Ultima, now smiling sweetly again, placed a neat folder on the desk. "These are the reports for my subordinates. Name, Veyron. EP, 882,869. Race, Demon Peer. Duke Class Blessing. Violet's lineage. Title, Butler of the Poison. Princess Magic. Dark Magic. Elemental Magic. Skill, Ultimate Gift. Artist. Resistance, nullifies physical, mental, natural, and abnormal effects. Holy Demonic Attack. Resistance. Name, Zonda. EP 301,316. Race, Demon Peer. Viscount Class. Blessing, Violet's lineage. Title, Chef of the Poison Princess Magic. Dark Magic. Elemental Magic. Skill, Unique Skill. Chef Resistance. Same as above Rimuru. Reviewed the data carefully. Veyron's power level was impressive, but what really caught his attention was Zonda's unique skill, Chef. It sounded similar to Shion's absurd supercook ability, and for a moment, Rimuru felt a pang of dread. He did not need another food-based reality warper running loose. Fortunately, Zonda's skill worked differently. It specialized in support and analysis, allowing him to cook a target's status to restore any injury or debuff. No messing with causality, no universe-breaking meals, just practical healing through culinary alchemy. Rimuru exhaled in relief. "At least this one won't destroy the laws of reality," he muttered. And now it was time for the main event. Ultima. Name, Ultima EP, 2,668,816. Race, Divine Demon. 7 primordials. Devil Lord. Blessing, Rimuru's Blessing. Title, Pain. Lord Magic, Dark Magic, Elemental Magic. Ultimate Skill, Poison King. Samael Resistances, Physical Attack. Nullification, Abnormal Condition. Nullification, Mental Attack Nullification, Natural Effects. Nullification, Holy Demonic Attack. Resistance. Like Testarossa, Ultima had grown tremendously stronger. Her total energy had continued to rise even after completing her evolution, proof that she was still developing. Now that her EP had exceeded 2.6 million, she was both terrifying and reassuring to have on the same team. But what really stood out was her ultimate skill, Poison King Samael. This ability contained a frightening lineup of powers. thought acceleration, universal perception, demon lord haki, space-time manipulation, multidimensional barrier, weakness identification, lethal poison creation, and finally, the most dangerous of them all, world of annihilation. Yeah, this was one of those skills designed purely for killing. The lethal poison creation part was already insane. So, by pairing it with weakness identification, Ultima could literally craft the perfect poison to kill any opponent. But World of Annihilation? That one was on a whole different level. It was a world system ability, the same type as the most extreme skills. World of Annihilation could instantly erase all non-spiritual beings who didn't possess an ultimate skill. No resistance, no second chances. It was basically a supercharged version of Rimuru's old skill, Merciless, taken to its absolute limit. Even Rimuru had to admit, that was way too much. He quietly poured himself a cup of coffee to steady his nerves before bringing it up. Ultima, about your World of Annihilation? He began carefully. Yes, Rimuru-sama, she replied cheerfully, accepting the cup he handed her. It's banned from use. From now on, you are forbidden to activate that ability. Ultima smiled brightly. Okay, I was thinking I didn't really need it anyway. Rimuru-sama totally understands how I feel. Eh? Yeah, of course I do, Rimuru answered with a forced laugh, relieved that she agreed so easily. He didn't fully get it, but it made sense. Ultima was a pure battle maniac. She lived for the thrill of fighting strong opponents. An instant win ability like World of Annihilation would only make things boring for her. With that matter settled, Rimuru relaxed a bit and the two continued their conversation in peace. Once they finished, Ultima bowed politely, then left the room. And so another interview came to an end, with only Carrera, the yellow primordial, left to go. The last interview was with Carrera. Hello, my lord. If it weren't for your help, I could never have beaten him. That man was so strong, it's hard to believe he was even human, she said with a laugh. Rimuru had already heard about this from CL, but hearing it directly from Carrera made things much clearer. It was truly a narrow victory, one that proved just how terrifying Kondo really was. Even Benimaru, who had defeated Granite, the third-ranked soldier of the Empire, admitted that Kondo was someone he didn't think he could surpass. That alone showed how big of a win this was for Carrera. Still, it's all thanks to you, Rimuru-sama, she continued proudly. You gave me the power to evolve, to surpass my limits and take on a new form. I owe everything to you. Please know that my loyalty will always belong to you. Normally, Carrera was arrogant and defiant, a wild one, even among the primordials. But in front of Rimuru, she was surprisingly honest. In truth, she was a being far older and more powerful than most demon lords, yet she had chosen to serve him wholeheartedly. Rimuru smiled. Then I'll be counting on you. Without your strength, we wouldn't be able to maintain order or hold proper trials. After all, monsters naturally followed the strong. Anyone could capture criminals, but judging them, deciding their fates, required both power and authority. In the future, Rimuru planned to create a Supreme Court-style system to handle serious cases. For now, though, Carrera's overwhelming strength made her the perfect enforcer. Carrera grinned, puffing out her chest. Oh, it's my honor. My whole family will serve exactly as Rimuru-sama wishes. Then came the paperwork, the status reports for Carrera and her subordinates. Name, Ajera EP 733,757 race, Demon Peer. Marquis rank Blessing, John's lineage. Title, Tyrant's Master. Magic, True Battle Will. Skill, Ultimate Gift. Blade, Transformation. Resistance, Physical Attack. Nullification, Abnormal Condition. Nullification, Mental Attack. Nullification, Natural Effects. Nullification, Holy Demonic Attack. Resistance, Name, Esprit, EP. 552,137. Race, Demon Peer. Count rank. Blessing, John's lineage. Title, Tyrant's Friend. Magic, Dark Magic. Elemental Magic. Skill, Unique Skill. Discerner, Resistance, same as above. Both were incredibly powerful, practically at the level of self-proclaimed demon lords. Agera, for instance, was comparable to a pseudo-awakened Clayman. If Rimuru had fought him back in the old days, there was a good chance he might have lost. Still, what caught Rimuru's attention wasn't just their strength, but their relationship. Carrera's lineage seemed unusually close-knit. Agera was her loyal right hand, and Esprit, her friend, acted less like a subordinate and more like an equal. If If one didn't know the full story, they could easily mistake the two for classmates or even sisters. That alone said a lot about Carrera's personality. She ruled with strength, but also camaraderie. But as Rimuru continued reading through the report, one particular detail made him stop and raise an eyebrow. Something about Carrera herself was even more surprising. Carrera's status report was the last one, and it was nothing short of terrifying. Name Carrera EP. 7,013,351. Adds plus 3, 370,000 when equipped with the golden gun. Race, Divine Demon. One of the 7 primordials, Demon Lord class blessing, Rimuru's blessing. Title, Menace. Lord Magic, Dark Magic. Elemental Magic. Ultimate skill, Annihilation. King Abaddon. Resistance, Physical Attack. Nullification, Natural Effects. Nullification, Abnormal Condition. Nullification, Mental Attack. Nullification, Holy Demonic Attack. Resistance. Rimuru's eyes turned into 2 dots as he stared at the report. The total amount of magicules surpassed even Diablo's, which made it the highest among all of his subordinates. Her growth might have stabilized, but her sheer potential was still terrifying. The biggest threat, though, was her ultimate skill, Annihilation King Abaddon. Its powers included Thought Acceleration, Universal Perception, Demon Lord's Haki, Space-Time Manipulation, Multidimensional Barrier, Limit Break, and Dimensional Rupture. Even without any world system powers like some of the others, this was a skill set entirely focused on destruction. Dimensional Rupture, in particular, could pierce through barriers that distorted space itself. Rimuru figured that if she went all out, she could probably even destroy Ramirez's labyrinth. In other words, not someone he'd ever want to fight. You've really gotten stronger, Rimuru muttered, genuinely impressed. Of course. It's thanks to you, Rimuru-sama, and to him too. Even if it was just a promise, I will crush the Emperor for that man's sake. Carrera's smile faded into determination as she spoke. That reminded Rimuru Kondu had been under the control of Michael all along. So he explained everything, how the real Rudra had already perished, and that the being she fought was actually Michael's will inhabiting Rudra's body. Carrera listened calmly and nodded. And one more thing, don't go picking fights with Matsuyuki, alright? Rimuru warned with a sigh. The interview seemed to be over. Carrera turned to leave, but halfway to the door she suddenly stopped and looked back with a mischievous grin. Oh right, there was one more thing I forgot to mention. What is it? Rimuru asked, raising an eyebrow as he lifted his cup of coffee. Agera, Carrera said slowly, seems to be Hakuru-san's grandfather. Pfft. Rimuru almost spat out his coffee. Wait, what? You can't just drop something that important right as you're leaving? Carrera just laughed, waving it off. Ha ha ha, I figured it'd be better if you handled that, Rimuru-sama. With that, she left the room still laughing, the kind of laughter that comes from relief after passing a heavy burden onto someone else. Rimuru sighed. She had definitely just thrown the problem straight at him. But one thing was certain. He'd have to meet with Agera himself someday to get to the bottom of it. And so, Rimuru's long day of interviews finally came to an end. Thank you for watching. Until next time, see you all in the next episode of AniMonolith.